Hello everyone and welcome to today's Stocks and Crypto YouTube Charts video. I am No FOMO Charts. Today is Sunday, October 19, 2025. It's after 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Welcome everyone. This is a swing trading and investing YouTube Charts channel. Today we'll start off with cryptocurrencies, do stock indexes, and then the watch list at the end, which is very short this week in terms of ticker symbols. So let's begin with Bitcoin. BTC USD. There's good news and there's bad news. I'll start off with the good news. The good news is on a daily chart, we are approaching the lower side of this linear regression and this Bollinger Band, which would be anywhere from $105,000 Bitcoin to $103,000, 105K to 103K. The good news is that there's a potential double bottom forming that is being tested right now. Why are we selling off this exact second that I'm speaking? There's been kind of negative news coming out of China, but the low stochastic and the double bottom, which is more apparent on Ethereum and Solana, but this double bottom potential zone of 105K. On the daily chart, I like that we're getting this low stochastic zone and the MACD is building. So maybe in about 1 or 2 weeks, the technical charts might be ready, maybe even a month. It could just be simple as a simple low stochastic reversal with a MACD histogram, or we might need a larger setup, which is a double MACD, bullish divergence, to take us to the next upside. So yes, it also is news-based. I'm very closely watching personally China news, USA news, stock earnings as well. If we have another flash dump, if we go all the way down to 100K or even to the 618, $94,000 Bitcoin, then I'm definitely buying in this zone because I think that's just value in terms of price. So 20% off Bitcoin, 25% off Bitcoin, that would be incredible. The last time that happened was a long time ago. Last time that happened was the tariff crash. 30% off, 33% off Bitcoin, that's an auto buy for me. So personally, I start to scale in a little bit because I'm trying to anticipate this particular reversal zone. Now let's go to Ethereum. Ethereum, the potential double bottom, we could see just around 3,700, 3,700. It is starting to reverse down from that spot, but if support holds above 3,600 to 3,700, we could get that double bottom in the price reversal. Could take us up to 4,200 or 4,600. Once we get through earnings and if all this bad news kind of calms down. It may or may not. That's why right now the charts are only part of the solution. So if I, on a 4-hour, if I draw this descending triangle, we have to, which is bad, we have to hold above the support line. That's what I'm saying, this double bottom 3,700 zone. I do like on the MACD histogram and the stochastic, we're getting that double momentum. We're starting to see that setup. So if I could draw a little short-term trend line, as long as we hold above 3,800, we might be okay here. Some short-term profit taking. Let's go to XRP. If I erase everything, we can also see that potential double bottom above 223. It is selling off right now, very short-term. We are below, it's downtrending below the 200 EMA. If we ever get down to about 210 or $2 XRP, then I'm definitely buying in that zone. So it remains to be seen. Solana as well. This one's a little easier to see the price pattern, the double bottom holding potential double bottom above 175 to 180. If we bring up EMA, it's a 200 EMA zone bounce. Double MACD, rising stochastic, rising. If this is a higher low in the price, I am actually already in Solana right now as a bull. It is downtrending, but I like the potential for this. If it crashes, flash crash all the way down to like 160 or 150, I'm auto buying that. Just because I think any dips below a severe daily Bollinger Band on the lower side, that could be up to 80% potential reversal. It's not guaranteed, but sometimes on Bitcoin, it could be 60, 70, 80% reversal potential. That's why I love those plays, that price setup. That's what I'm watching out for. Most other altcoins and meme coins are just following these larger term coins. Sometimes there's like one or two, just a handful that will have a strong reversal. But for me, when we're this volatile in the market, I like to calibrate myself just on the top 4 or 5, maybe 10 cryptos. And for me, I need to just control my emotions. Don't get too fearful. Don't get too greedy either. And just try to buy the most likely, highest probability chance price pattern setup. Also factoring in the news. Let's go to stocks. Stocks, SPY, SPY ETF here. Futures right now on ES1, I'll briefly show that, is showing a bit of a sell-off right now and coming off of that China news. So if we go back to SPY with that in mind, there's a little bit of red on this chart. Now, the potential head and shoulders that I'm seeing in the market right now, left shoulder, head, potential right shoulder, but it's not over until the neckline breaks. So we have to lose essentially 650 in this price. And if the price crashes below that, then it's going to be very, very reactionary in the market. We're still in the uptrend, however, and the pivot point is still at that 656 level. Excuse me. What is the pivot point? So we need to hold above that support level is all I'm saying. Now, in terms of Bollinger Band or linear regression, it's not extreme on those indicators, but I do like that there's a little bit of life showing in the MACD. It's very, very sensitive, just one uptick. That might change in the next couple of days. But usually after we get a flash dump, if the data is good enough and the news is good enough, we might be able to sustain an uptrend if earnings are good and the news is not too extreme. Let's go to Nasdaq QQQ ETF. It's very similar. I'll just say it like this. Instead of a head and shoulders pattern for Nasdaq, it could be a just resistance zone below 612 or below 603. The neckline down here, support zone that we need to hold is definitely above 587. Mark that in the blue. Still in the uptrend on the daily chart. Weekly chart is not too extreme yet. Warning though, if this turns into a double top on the weekly, if we have a straight red week this week, then that could be bad for the market because that's our first big potential double top on a weekly. Earnings for tech will be very, very important. So I'm not going to give too much credence and emphasis on the indicators. It's all about earnings and news. Dow Jones, temporary resistance below 468 and 463 as well. Support at 455. Still in the longer term uptrend on this weekly chart. Let's just play those levels right now. We can see when we have a much larger, obvious double top, then we have a sell-off. But it's not even that extreme. We're not crashing negative 20%. It's 3%. Last year is bad, 6% around the same time in November, but that was election based. So unless we have something like a weekly lower high, which maybe that might happen in the next couple of weeks, but if it doesn't, we just establish potential our next higher low support level. Russell 2000 on the weekly as well. That shooting star is not really good. It's not very confident. So we need a confident small cap rally here if we're going to survive. The resistance at 245 is still intact. 237 is our short-term support level that we need to watch out for. Pivot point is 240. I'm not looking at the oscillators too much right now because on the weekly, that's such a suspicious looking candle for small caps. Almost looks like an exhaustion just for that day. So in terms of algorithms, this makes total sense that if they bought this extreme and the April lows, somebody might have taken a little bit of profit just for that one day. Or maybe buying this particular dip and then selling here. So that's what's happening in the market. That's going to be it for tickers we're looking at this week, the ticker symbols. Let's close out this weekly watch list, which is mostly an earnings list. So today's Sunday, October 19 in the evening. Earnings releases, the biggest earnings will be Netflix, Tesla, possibly Blackstone, Intel, maybe even IBM, American Airlines, if something happens with the airline stocks. But it's mostly going to be Netflix and Tesla that has all the attention, possibly Intel off of that news 1 or 2 months ago. The government shutdown is still ongoing, so some of this economic data might be delayed. We're supposed to have core CPI and CPI data, sentiment, inflation expectations, new home sales, existing home sales, consumer sentiment. But that CPI data is important still. Now the news, this is old news, but last week President Trump said tariff on Chinese goods, the high tariffs were not sustainable, and he confirmed to a reporter last week that the USA and China are currently in a trade war, which means for me, any USA-China news for stocks is very important. President Trump also set new tariffs on imported trucks, 25%, and buses 10% starting November 1st. Also last week, USA regional banks confirmed losses regarding bad loans in the commercial real estate sectors and loans with their borrowers. So that's the regional banks. Also, cryptocurrency market was very volatile and downtrending in the past couple of weeks due to all this recent macroeconomic changes like tariffs, consumer sentiment, earnings, especially over leveraging, technical chart setups. So for me, I'm starting to scale into crypto just because it's one of my strategies, the lower Bollinger Band cross. But sometimes crypto can go extreme. Remember, we're at all-time high zone, 120 all the way down to 100K. So the two chart events, I'll keep it simple for people, is SPY has that potential daily head and shoulders resistance price pattern forming after it bounced up from the 50 EMA after it bounced up from the 50 EMA support zone. Bitcoin is different. That potential 4-hour double bottom on Bitcoin and top altcoins like Ethereum and Solana, but support must hold. If we lose support on both SPY and BTC, then all of these chart events are canceled, and I'm going to have to wait for a very, very deep oversold setup because the RSI is not oversold extreme yet. So if I want maximum value in this market, I would have to wait for a crash for investing. For trading, I'm playing one of my strategies. Thank you for watching, and I hope you have a nice week this week. Let's remember to run our strategies and control our emotions during this volatile time and always manage risk. Thank you for watching. If you like this video, consider clicking subscribe, hit the like button, share this video with your friends, and I'll see you in the next one.